Hello and welcome. My name is Morgan Boyle, and I'm the manager of adult programs here at the New York Public Library. We're thrilled to have you joining us at the Stavros Niarchos Foundation Library to kick off this year's World Literature and Arts Festival. Each year, the New York Public Library's World Literature and Arts Festival invites trailblazers from diverse disciplines and backgrounds to celebrate storytelling through books, performances, culinary traditions, and beyond, while shining a spotlight on New York City's vibrant communities. Please join us through April 30th to enjoy all of our free events and programs, both in person and online, along with book recommendations, resources, and more. Tonight, we are excited to welcome you to the new rap language, How Musicians Continue to Transform the Spoken Word, where we will be joined by groundbreaking artists Audry Funk, Bartika and Felukah, who will discuss their work and share some special performances. Tonight's conversation will be moderated by renowned journalist Jessica Lipksy. Following the conversation, we'll have a little time for audience questions, so get those ready. And we'd also like to welcome those joining us online this evening. Please feel free to share your thoughts in the chat. Tonight's program is being recorded, but you will not be you, as in the folks online. Also, audience members, you may see your questions, but just that's the folks online. And your questions will also not be recorded. Closed captioning is available for those joining us online. To turn on captions, please click the CC button at the bottom of your screen. We'd also like to welcome our friends from the New York Poets Cafe who are here tonight. Please stop by their table to say hello and check out all of their wonderful programming. The New York Public Library strives to ensure that everyone is welcome and has access to the full range of information, services, and programs offered by our neighborhood branches and research libraries. I am now pleased to introduce our moderator, Jessica Lipksy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. I personally am stoked to be here, and after chopping it up backstage with these ladies, I know you all are going to be very excited to hear about their diverse stories, interesting sounds, and really cool perspectives. So to start, I would love to hear from each of you about what initially inspired you to create music as opposed to any other art form. And anybody can take it away. Audry, do you want to start? Put you on the spot.
Hi. Thank you so much. What again?
In a world where there's so much art, there you can do anything, and multiple things.
Yeah.
What inspired you to create music?
Well, I think it was because I was born and raised. Okay, I'm from Mexico. Hi. Born and raised in Mexico. I just have 11 years in the city. And in my hometown, I was raised by a lot of musicians in a way, like no musician per se. Like my parents are no musician, but they love music. And also, I've been always being around, I don't know why, like people who likes art. So it was very natural for me to have this kind of perspective of the life through the music. So my grandfather loves jazz and blues and foxtrot. My dad plays guitar and also do boleros, trios, and all that kind of music. My mom loves classical music, so she used to take me to the theater to look some like operas, and so I was always like doing this. Why hip hop? Well, God no, because I believe it was I really enjoy the the social thing about the culture of hip hop, and it makes sense for me. But I always been in the music scene since I'm 15 years in Mexico. I start to do I do the vocalist. I was the singer of a reggae band, so on. Now I'm 38 and I've been in the game since I'm 15. So music, because it's everything for me. Like make me feel alive. Now give me friends all over the world, a career, friendships, love. It's a bunch of like beautiful things. Like I believe music is everything now, and I choose this path because I don't know, maybe it chose me. Like it comes and I just go with the flow and grab the music and okay, let's do it. So that's why. Yeah.
I love that. Luca, what about you?
Wow, that's so tough to to follow up that beautiful story. I wish I had a clear path that way that called me to music. I think like what you said about it chose you and you didn't really choose that career. I grew up as a poet and a dancer, and I was always very passionate about rhythm and about poetry. And so when I think it was my brother who I was going through a really bad breakup, and he was like, "If you're tired of writing poems, what about rap?" And I was just like, I can't rap. And he's like, you literally have rhythm and poetry, and that's what rap is. And I'm like, interesting. And so I started reading my poems over beats that my brother would make. And one thing led to another. I started open micing actually at the New Eurekan Poets Cafe. So shout out the New Eurekan for a good solid, like 2 years before I booked my first show in New York. And now it's been 5 years of nothing but music, and I'm touring and I'm putting out records, and I'm loving it, and I'm learning so much from the people around me and the friends that it introduces you to, and the lifestyle of being an artist. It's really such a blessing to be in music and to be just having something to say too, as like having a message and an underpinning motive to draw attention to the places in the world and the voices that aren't always being heard, like women and women of color specifically, is really important to me and my craft. So very, very blessed to be here.
Excellent. Yeah.
For me, I think writing is actually my primary craft. So music just happens to be one of the medium that I wanted to kind of explore myself or pursue my self-discovery, which is absolutely important to me. And much like Audrey's story right here, like I was raised in a big family, and in my childhood memories, everybody's singing. So it's like everybody around me was singing all the time. I didn't even know like singing is a talent until I went to boarding school, and I was 9 years old, and then I was like, oh, okay, this is a talent, because everybody like in the kitchen, everybody's singing, and like doing the laundry, everybody's singing, and it's like my childhood is filled with like the mothers in my memory, like childhood memory, are very strong kind of vocal, memories of just the female figures in my life who were singing all the time. So I just had it in me, and when the time came to, pursue my self-discovery, I was like, hey, let's pair writing with music, and then that's what my project came to happen. Yeah.
I love that. And it's wonderful that each of you has a story of like self-discovery and kind of coming into yourself, whether it is as a teenager, whether it's, using writing to discover music, or, coming out of a bad breakup and realizing you have all of these skills and you should put them into a new way. But with writing in mind, Bartika, you mentioned you grew up writing before putting that into song. And Felukah, you were also writing poetry, and you were a creative writing student at Hunter. I'd love for each of you to explain how those artistic practices like overlap and work in music. Whoever wants to go first.
I think, yeah, for sure. For me, everything begins with the writing. I'll think of lyrics or verse or just topics before the music even comes into fruition. I'm starting to teach myself more of the production end of things, but really the message and the lyrics is what really matters so much to me. My greats, Erykah Badu, Tupac, like these are poets, they're scholars, and they're people. Lauryn Hill, obviously a huge mentor for me. And for me, there's a huge overlap. Obviously, the music is what like breathes life into the verse, into the poems. But for me, it begins and ends with what I'm trying to say. And I know a lot of musicians don't necessarily have that process, but for me as a writer, first and foremost, that has to start like that. I don't know about you.
Yeah, for me, art has always been a coping mechanism for me. It's not something that I do full time because I didn't have the privilege to. But it's also because when I was growing up, like my mom, like both my parents were teachers. So ever since I was young, like my mom tells me that I was an overthinker ever since I was like really young.
I can relate.
So she, like when I started barely like writing full sentences, she handed me my first journal and she was like, just write your feelings down. So in a way to like process these big feelings. So that is where everything starts for me. So obviously music, again, is I'm just processing the things that are happening. And yeah, that's
And for me, yeah, I also write poetry now nowadays with my new partner, who is a poet. Let me know like you're a poet too, no, right? Because I always write poetry and do it, but I don't recognize myself as a poet. I think it's very very hard as a woman, as an immigrant, recognize certain talents that you have. So I've been in this journey to recognize myself. So I'm an artist, I'm a poet, I'm a singer, I'm a rapper, I'm an activist, no? And name your things and your talents make you like more crafty, you know, like I'm gonna use this and that, no? And for me, was that like I write, but also my degree is in philosophy, so I love. I'm a very critical and analytic thinker, and I have random things. Also, I have ADHD, of course, and I have random random things in my head that I pull up for my art. So it's like a process for me to engage with my language, my culture, and all the political situation that I like to talk, and the political situation in my country. Also, like being an immigrant here. So for me, it's like the inspiration from the reality, and took that and like convert into the art. And for my art being strong and powered to say what is happening in my situation, in my day by day. So that's my thing. Yeah, the core.
Yeah. And I think you just covered a great deal of this, but for the folks in the audience and our viewers at home that might not be familiar with each of your work, or maybe are familiar with Felukah but not familiar with Audry, familiar with Bartika, what are some general themes and topics that you like to cover in your music, either now or in the past or in general?
I'll take this. So I write a lot about migration. Obviously, as an immigrant who's been away from home for, this is like my 13th year. I get scared a little bit sometimes because I'm like, oh, in a few years, I'm gonna be the same amount of time in the US as I was in Nepal. So that's kind of like emotional and also like whoa, like a whoa moment for me. I write a lot about displacement caused by migration, acceptance in the process. Yeah, I guess those are some of the existentialism. I don't want to get too dark here, but yeah, those are some over memories. I talk a lot about memories, home. Yeah, these are some of the themes.
To jump in real quick, I thought that your bio has an interesting line. It says that you write music to help alleviate the perennial identity crisis of existing as a Nepali in a non-Nepali world. And I imagine that like dichotomy is something both of you guys can relate to.
I think definitely that's always something on my mind, is navigating home as like a place within you, because you're not physically there anymore. So how do you make home something internal that you can carry everywhere with you? And then coming from Egypt and then coming out here to study and then staying here and beginning my music career here and finding that New York is a beautiful place to live and there's so many cultures and so many things happening all around you. So if it feels quite natural to be carrying this home with me. I feel like everyone in this room is probably carrying a piece of home with them. So I feel really lucky to be in a city where like that is recognized. There's space held for that. And there's communities too that recognize that, like, well, this is Little Egypt, this is Little Italy, like this is, you have places to go. And I know the same cannot be said about many states in the US. So I'm very grateful to be in New York. But it is a constant struggle, right? And it's like, well, why are we pushing so hard to make home here, But this life does take you places, and like you want to be able to stand tall in your roots and carry your roots with you. And I think that comes out in so many things too, in your music, in your traditions, how you carry yourself day to day, food as lineage, as history. That's something I really want to get into, is learning to cook my mother's food and carrying that legacy with me into my family. So every day we're carving out spaces to remember who we are and remember that heritage and carry it with us proudly in the middle of the mix of being in a Western world.
Yeah, that's even. I prefer, I love to talk, not limited by, but I love to talk to feminism, of course, like from Latin America. Also, anti-colonialism, it's important for me. Of course, immigration, and because not everyone immigrates in the same terms, I came here illegally, no. A Trump. And now I'm not. So sad. But it was a journey, right? Like being in this city, like no papers and trying, like having a life and sustain the life and also sustain the career. So for me, migration is also like a trauma that you never recover so fast because you're always missing something. I always say our roots, we are like a plant, no? And our roots are trying to find the best earth, but meanwhile we are in glasses of water, you know, these plants that grow in water, and then we're floating. I think you heard.
I love that.
Yeah. So we're floating, no? We're here. When we change apartment, we're still floating, no? So we change water, okay. So I talk about that, and also I'm, as you see, I'm a very like always trying to be a happy person and to like laugh about my sadness and my disgrace. But is also I love to talk about anti-fat phobic, like I'm a big girl, so I'm always talking about the body and how you should be more acceptance about you and your brownness and your immigrantness, and also my right to take place as an immigrant, no, to take the space, because in the imaginary of everyone, like as a Mexican, I have to be cleaning your house or giving to your sandwich, which is not bad because I've been doing those kind of jobs, but also I have all the right to take these kind of spaces, right? Because I'm an artist, because I have all the right to be listened, and I have all the right to perform in here, or I don't know, like Brick, Celebrate Brooklyn, or whatever. Like I have been the pleasure to do it. So it's like, hey, Mexican people, we are here, but you have all the right to earn this because this is now home. So that's another topic, a strong topic that I like to talk about. Yeah.
Yes. Claps for that. Snaps for that. It sounds like, however, your journey here to New York, to the States, living here has had a positive impact on each of your artistry and perhaps sense of self. I'm curious if there have been any really exciting collaborations that you've had with local artists, either within your community or outside of it, that you feel have like furthered your artistry.
I mean, it's funny you mentioned Brick, Celebrate Brooklyn, because that was definitely a moment for me. I performed at the summer stage last summer, and it was just an incredible ensemble of Arab artists. We had Palestinian singers, I'm Egyptian, so there was that in the mix, Syrian artists, and I was just like, where have you all been? Like, I was just like so happy to meet everybody. And then, yeah, since then have just kept meeting. But that's a great place to be meeting people, I feel.
Same. Like for me, Celebrate Brooklyn was not two, like 3 summers, and I performed and I opened the show for Lido Pimienta in Rita, Indiana. For me, it was crazy. Like, or going to what is the this big? Sorry, I'm too.
Summer stage, maybe?
No, Summer Stage, Lincoln Center. Thank you.
Yes.
I performed there, and for me it was amazing because when I came here, I always say this story. Like when I came here, I asked for a job in a Mexican restaurant, and I remember I don't have money, I don't have anything, and I was like, what I'm going to do, and they say no, and I just go and sit all sad in Lincoln Center. And say, one day I'm gonna perform here. And then when I perform, I was like, I did it, no? So it's like, thank you. So it's kind of like these moments, maybe no artists, but the places, and also the artists that I've been knowing here, like amazing musicians with amazing careers, which for me is very like, wow, because I don't have this music education. I just make music because I like. If you put like a paper to read music, I'm gonna say like, good, let's do it. I don't know how to read this, but I have a lot of like people around me who is so talented, and I respect, and they give me that respect back, and I feel that is everything. Like the collaboration with the respect, and I love your work, and even like, that's amazing.
I've been comparatively focused in my bubble of like my Nepali collaborators in Nepali scene. But what comes to mind is my collaborator who's produced like 99% of my music. His name is Dewas Korong, shout out. He's an incredible, like phenomenal musician. And he lived in New York when I decided to first, record my first studio album and then get it out there. And if not for New York, like that collaboration would never have happened. And I don't even like Bartika Imre music would never really have existed in the way that it does now. So that's what comes to mind when you say New York collaboration.
I feel that myself as a writer and a writer about music. It's so wonderful to be surrounded by people who are so dedicated to craft or just really trying to make it happen, whatever that it is. It makes you want to do better, to try new things, to listen more widely, like whatever it is. But speaking of New York and it being the home of innovation, we are in the home of hip hop. Audry lives in the home of hip hop, to be clear. And both you and Felukah identify as rappers, but your recent music has had broader genre exploration. And I would love to hear how hip hop has influenced you as artists.
You. Okay. Well, hip hop came to my life when I was 19 in Mexico, and I was just freshman in a college, and I say like, oh, I love philosophy, but how we can manage all this knowledge and all these like amazing words and ideas to the communities, right? Because for me, like going to the university is a privilege, period, no? And having and allowing myself to spend like 3 hours just reading about Socrates and Plato is like, yeah, of course it's a privilege. So how I can like give back to the community. So hip hop come into my life as a culture, no? Like I now start to understand, because of course I'm from Puebla, Mexico. Like there's not like you have a, now it's a big hip hop scene, but like it was a baby scene. So I start to do my research, what hip hop is, what are the 4 elements. Well, now it's 5 elements, and how we can incorporate this to the community. So it makes sense to me. Like, oh, so this is philosophy, this is the critical thing, but also I can work with the community through the hip hop, and it's gonna be amazing. So I start to give like workshops in a very high risk areas in Mexico, in my hometown, giving workshops of rap, no? Then I come with my friends who do graffiti and come and teach to the kids. So we start to doing and create these hip hop schools for the community. And for me, hip hop has been everything. Like since I'm 19, I've been doing like not just rapping, which is give me a lot of, beautiful things about being an artist, but also as an activist that I really enjoy that part of being an activist, is working with the community and give options that I don't know I have until I know hip hop. So now I know, like, and then come to this work, to this place, and being in South Bronx and being with all these legends of the hip hop, and suddenly I'm doing an amazing hip hop event, and then DJ Cool Herc came in, and I'm like, what? Like, yeah, okay, all fun and thing, no? So it's crazy. It's been crazy for me. Like for me, hip hop is everything. I still doing workshops in schools, in middle schools, high schools, now in the U.S. with just recent immigrated guys, like kids from a lot of like Latin American countries. So it's like everything for me. Like I know I say I love everything, but it's everything. It's like my way to have money, my way to contribute to the world, my way to contribute to the politics of my country and also the politics of this country, and trying to reconnect the social fabric in this country that is really broken for us. So yeah, hip hop give me life. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that definitely resonates so much with me. I think hip hop was brought into my life around a similar time, maybe 18, 19 years old. I remember hearing these 2 Chicago rappers, No Name and Chance, the rapper, who really influenced just what I knew about hip hop at the time. I mean, growing up in Egypt, it was Billboard Top 10, it was Nelly, it was, Christina Aguilera. It was all stuff that didn't really like hit home for me. And when I listened to No Name and she's talking about feminism and anti-colonialism and the power of reading and literature, and Chance is telling all these amazing stories, I'm like, wait a minute, I can really like navigate this rap world the way I want to, while still knowing my place and knowing that this is Black art first and foremost, and that this is something I need to study and research to really appreciate before like putting myself into the scene. and I'm still always learning. I think the key is really, as an artist, is we're always learning. We're always learning from the greats who came before us. You're learning from people around you, your peers, younger people who are doing things differently and navigating the world differently. So I'm always just trying to learn from the universe. But it was listening to those records when I was 18, 19, and being like, wait a minute, I can really do this in my own way, and I can be telling my story and take up space proudly and do it over an Arabic sounding beat and to incorporate these instruments that I've never really heard before in hip hop, like my native instruments. That was really, really empowering, like a mind blowing moment. And I still continue to like explore that in between of like, how can I bring in my Arab culture while staying true to this rhyme scheme that I want to do, or flipping languages and appealing to both the Western and the Middle Eastern crowd. So it's so much fun to just explore, to find your voice in this practice that has been passed down from, incredible people before us. So yeah, learned so much from hip hop. I continue to learn so much, and I hope it never stops, like genuinely.
I get the sense that everybody on this stage is a lifelong learner, so no doubt there. Everyone on stage is also a songwriter, and I'd like to hear a little bit about your processes for creating music. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm always writing about the people and places around me. I don't know, people and places that I'm currently at, or I've left, or have left me, or just a lot of inspiration from, again, the same things, and then processing basically like navigating, like I said earlier, it's a coping mechanism. So navigating whatever's happening, just things like, for example, like what started, when it started was when I first moved to the US, and then all I dreamed about at that time was coming to the US. Okay, and then I came here, and then I felt displaced. Like, I guess, like, when she talks about the immigrant trauma, like, I really feel that. So then, like, I really felt lost, and then I guess I was just trying to talk into the void when I started making songs. Like, that was when it started for me. So that was my process. And then when I decided to, like, intentionally record it, I was like, I wanted to reach somebody who's possibly going through the same thing. So the process is still like very organic and stays the same. For example, my third album, which was in 2019, is about processing like a political awakening inside me that I didn't even know like existed. Like I didn't really know like what was happening until the album was done. And then I just started cutting off everybody from my life. So I didn't really, it was very complicated, right? And then only after the album ended was when I realized, okay, this is what's going on. So in that way, like songwriting to me has been like, again, like a medium to process all these like different things that are happening in my life. And I'm also like not a very social person in my day-to-day life. So I have a very limited kind of a circle, and I also spend a lot of time with myself. And so it's, that is the role that it plays in my life.
Ladies? How your songwriting process. We were all entranced, I know.
My process changes all the time. I feel like the more rooms I'm in with new collaborators and new thinkers, I'm like, oh, well, you can do it this way. You can start with a melody. You can start with an idea. You can voice note it. You can, there's infinite ways to really create a song. But I feel like what I'm most comfortable with is creating melodies and then pulling words out of the melodies from voice notes, and then entering a studio session and being like, we need production around this. Because like I said, the writing comes first and foremost, the verse, the lyrics, and then, just creating melodies is also very natural to me. So I'm not going to be able to know exactly what snare I need or what horns or what section this are arranging, but that's why two heads are definitely better than one. And I love to collaborate with anybody, from younger cousins to established musicians to, people who, I think if you have that ear for music, you have a passion for music. And I also grew up around a family that was very passionate about music, had no idea how to make it, and there had no musicians in the family, but we had a strong love for it. So whether it was Fairuz, Kulthum, amazing Arab artists, or Sade in the car, like that was always something that I just held a space for. So the songwriting process just changes all the time. I think just listening to what your gut wants you to do And trusting that has been the biggest lesson.
I'm more like what is happening in my life or in the outside. And it depends. It's the same as Felukah, and like sometimes it's melody, sometimes like the recent. I have dropped this past year 2 albums. One collaborative with my friend Rebecca Lane from Guatemala, and that's crazy because we both like going on through our divorces. So it was like 4 tracks giving like I hate you, blah blah blah, like, and it was so healing. And also, we have a bunch of fans that been crossing on divorces, so it was like good, right? So I think that's the point of music, like connect with people. And sometimes for us as Mexicans or Latin American persons, like women, like being divorced is like, you what? Why? No, so we are breaking a lot of like stigma there. Like, yeah, I got married, but yeah, I got divorced, and it's the best decision ever, right? So, and I'm gonna do it an EP. So, and now listen to my sadness with, and actually it was a reggaeton album, and it was so good. Like just dancing your sadness. It was so good for me, and it was like so like for my soul was so like freedom, like. And also my own album like is more like deep and like talking about a lot of topics and all that. So it's different. It's the moment, it's the thing, this spark that I'm gonna talk about this, or I'm going through this, or in my country just happened this, so I'm gonna talk about the topic. So that's my process.
Does your language, does Spanish lend to any unique songwriting processes? And I'll ask the same of Arabic. I'll ask the same of Nepali.
Like Spanish?
Yeah, like the Spanish language. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of rhyming words, so that will lend to hip hop well. But is there anything particular to Spanish that you think is special when it comes to songwriting?
I think the musicality of the language, like it's very musical, and and also as a Mexican we have a lot of slang, and that's so fun. And we can like do, and I think as a rapper you can allow yourself to be more like local language and more like, so I love that. I love to use the Spanish. Actually all my work is in Spanish. I have some words suddenly in English. Even if I feel like fluent in English, I don't feel it to speak. I don't know, to write in English for me is kind of weird. I don't want to sound like Shakira. I'm just kidding. No, no.
Don't come for
She's
us,
amazing.
Shakira.
She's amazing. But it's the accent, right? And I love the accent, and I don't gonna pretend to have no accent. But for me, it's a weight of resistance. Like, yeah, I'm an immigrant, and I'm gonna be always an immigrant, and I'm gonna be always tiki in English, so it's okay to be like that. So I'm gonna be more like rough in my R's when I speak in English, and I don't care. So that's why I just use Spanish, because I believe it's also a form of resistance in my situation. So it's Spanish, and sometimes English.
Oh, I feel that on so many levels. First of all, we roll our R's too. So all the way. In Arabic too. I think definitely Arabic is so inspiring to me because the scale is literally so different to Western music. So there's 24 tones in the Arabic scale that Western music just completely cut out. And in my training, I'm learning how to welcome these notes back into my consciousness that I never really learned, because I also didn't have musical education. It came from the soul, and now I'm learning so much vocal training and music theory and everything. But the Arabic scale is a whole different way of listening to music and receiving it. So that's very interesting to me, and how to incorporate a whole different scale into Western music. And finding that blend. I also love writing and singing and rapping in my native tongue in Arabic. I comfortably switch between Arabic and English, and a lot of times people have a lot of opinions about that, being a bilingual artist. I'm sure you guys know what it's like. It's like, oh, you're limiting your audience. Only one half of the world will understand you then. And it's like, I tend to feel like I'm writing for the in-between. Like if you feel, that sense of like, maybe you're Arab, but you didn't grow up in the Middle East, or you grew up there and then you moved for whatever reason, and you want to find like some kind of connection to somebody who feels related just to both worlds. That's really who I'm writing for. And I think that's a beautiful space to be in, is to have a foot in like so many different parts of the world. It's really such a powerful thing to feel. So Arabic informs my work all the time. I think I have more work to do to pay back to my roots and like really honor my Arabic in a way that I didn't. Growing up, it was so much fascination with the Western world because this is kind of what we're taught, is like you want to go abroad so bad, you can't wait to leave. And I'm assuming everybody feels that way a little bit no matter where you grow up, right? It's like grass is greener on the other side. But when you get there, it's like this grass is not greener, actually. So I guess that's just a never-ending process, yeah.
I love everything that Audrey and Felukah just said, like right there. I also did not answer your question earlier technically about the songwriting process. As they started talking, I was like, okay, that was about technique. Just a little bit, like my songwriting process, like I said earlier, a little bit implied, is very lonely. So like I said, I'm processing, so it's a lonely process. But when it gets to production, I always collaborate with somebody so that, first of all, I don't know production, like I don't know how to produce music, but also like she said, like when you open up to the collaborator, like that's when things get interesting. That answers for the earlier question. But moving on, I love what Felukah just said about her being like switching between languages and stuff. For me, I mainly only record in Nepali. Although I write both in English and Nepali, but all my recordings are in Nepali. It was to kind of like for my intentionally, like it was to be authentic to why I started doing like making songs in the first place. It was because I was trying to reach these places that I felt were slipping away from my life, right? Like tangibly, like I'm losing these places and people from my life, so I'm trying to, stop them from disappearing. So in a way, like that was the main reason why. And then the other was also so that my mother would totally understand it. She unfortunately does understand English. I say unfortunately because in our society, smaller societies like ours, like we many times, talking about colonialism, like, we, at the expense of our own language, we only speak English. But anyways, so that was another reason why I was like, if I'm gonna record my songs, it's only gonna be Nepali. So that was the other reason why. And yeah, it's a beautiful language to sing to. Like I'm a singer-songwriter, so rap is not my genre, but it kind of also fits kind of the genre that I'm, using as a medium to connect with myself and the people around me. So yeah, it's a beautiful language in general.
Well, your languages are obviously a big part of your identities. And I'm curious if there's also an aspect of language education, that you're singing in your mother tongue and you might have an audience that does not understand this language. Does that play at all for you, whether performing or recording, songwriting?
I believe like music is universal and is a feeling also. So I always start with my concert like, who speaks Spanish? Like, raise your hand. If not, learn. You're in New York. A lot of people know how to speak Spanish. But besides that, I believe if you cannot understand me, you're gonna feel it. And that happened to me here, and also I tour a lot in Europe, like for example in Germany. You can be surprised how many Germans can speak Spanish really fluent. But also it's like, I don't understand nothing, but I love what you do, your energy. So it's about the whole package. It's just like giving the world a message. Of course, when I'm in a non-speaking Spanish audience, I always try to give an introduction about what I'm talking about. But it's about like to connect with the art and connect with your feelings and dance and be you and stay there stay present in the moment. So yeah.
Definitely agree with that. I think music transcends all languages anyways, and I have so many Spanish songs memorized. I don't know what I'm saying when I'm singing Bad Bunny or anything. Yeah, but I'm like, but I love this record. So I totally relate to that. And I guess when it comes to my work, honestly, one of the most things that really excites me, like a comment I love to receive is, this song or this album made me want to learn Arabic. I'm like, oh, well, my parents need to see that. So that's very, very beautiful to see that somebody enjoyed singing along so much that they want to know. And I think something great about being alive in this era of the internet is like most of my TikToks, Reels, or whatever, I'll put both languages on there, just so that if you understand Arabic, you get to see the translation. If you don't speak Arabic, you can see the translation and kind of just pick up on that. So the internet has helped so much to just like push our cultures forward and to bridge that gap between all these different societies, all these ethnicities. So it's such a beautiful thing to be celebrating your culture and your language and to spread that message and welcome people in. Like, we're not that different to each other, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I love that. So I am not yet in music education kind of a phase. Like, that's not something that's, quite honestly, I haven't really, it's not a priority for me yet. I might get there, you know, eventually, like, as things are bound to happen and unravel. But for me, it was also, it stems from this frustration that I didn't have a lot in pop culture that was Nepali. Okay, because we were like, all our pop culture was dominated by like English songs and, you know, all these Western music. So for me, like, it was absolutely important to kind of like have, I feel like as a Nepali, for me, like, I just wanted to have all kinds of Nepali music, like, I don't know, beautiful songs, like dancing songs, like whatever, you know, sad songs, trashy songs, everything. Basically, we just needed a pop culture. So that is more like my journey. And that's where I'm focused at, because I'm just frustrated seeing, like, especially now that I'm, you know, I've been living here for years, and then the problem of like kids who are growing up here and then them and their grandparents not being able to converse is just like, you know, I'm just like, it's something that really bothers me. And just the way like all of us are desensitized, those are the things that I'm trying to grapple with. So, which is why the intention behind it is to more like document and have it for the future generation, because things are being extinct. It's even like I belong to an indigenous community within Nepal. And Nepali is truly not my language. But it's a language, it's the only language that I know. I don't know like my indigenous language because my mom does not speak it. My father did, like he passed away early. So these are like kind of like the motivations that I have. And I'm still in that kind of like, you know, navigation. Like I'm still navigating like those circumstances, which is why music education for like, I have like met people, like for example, when I was touring in Europe, like I have met an Italian girl, like who was like, I don't know, I think she was 19, and she was there on my show, and I met her, and she's like just using Google Translate, and that's how we talk to each other. But I'm like, you know, I wish like I could like talk to you more, and then, but that was lovely. So, you know, those things probably gonna happen in the future, but yeah, I just started thinking about this question right now, so that is where I am.
I think that each of you brings up a really important point of how representation matters, and you want to be the person that is singing in your native tongue, and you can be an example for other people, and just to know that it's possible. And I don't think that can be understated. In a slightly less hopeful question, is the current political climate influencing the work that you do or the messages therein, especially one in which immigrants are increasingly unwelcome, unfortunately?
Well,
Audrey, do you have some thoughts on that?
No. How? Yes, totally, of course. Like I think it's like for me it's a statement as an artist. Maybe it's the way I see it, but if your art is a way of your politics, then where is the body and the spirit of your art? So that is my point of view. Maybe it's gonna be different for somebody else, but it's like I cannot be blind and don't see what is happening in the world. Like I mean, we through there's Palestine, there's Congo, there's Sudan, there's Mexico and the narco traffic, there's Colombia. There's a lot of things going on, and I cannot be blind. It's also this country, the right wing coming, like you know, is fascism is just coming and say hi again, no? Like hi, we're back. We give you a small break, no? So so of course we have to do it, like to fight back at least with the tools that we have or I have, that is the music and the platform I've been creating from the independent scene, because I'm not a signed artist. I don't have a label. My label is my living room. I have my studio there, no, and I I record there. I have to learn how to do it, and yeah, I don't have a booker, so I have to book my own shows. I have to do a lot, and it's I know because my music is too politic for for a lot of venues or whatever, but it is what is happening in this world. Like we cannot be blind no more, and all these things are like coming for us. So yeah.
I totally agree. I think I personally feel like it's a necessity and almost an obligation as an artist who recognizes that I have a gift, as an artist who recognizes that we all have gifts. It's almost selfish to not use it at a time like this when you can raise so much awareness through your work. You can just literally being yourself is a revolution in this day and age. When you know who you are, when you stand tall in your truth, when you speak up for what you believe in and you take up space, especially if you're drawing attention to these issues that are just so incredibly important that we talk about them right now. Women's movement, Palestine, Sudan, queerness, everything that is constantly being pushed against by the right wing, like you said. I think now is an imperative time to be standing up and taking up space in your work. And because this is what all I know is art and music and culture, it's my duty to do that. And I remember seeing an interview, Erykah Badu, who was saying like, art is my religion, this is my gift that God gave me, and this is what I have to do is give that gift back to the people. So this is how I see my work. If I don't keep doing what I do, that's selfish. Like, why am I just keep hoarding this to myself? We're alchemists, we're magicians. Like, we can create worlds, beautiful alternate realities that tackle these issues and maybe reimagine the future, reimagine the past. What other form can do that if not art? So I'm like, no, I'm gonna have to keep working and work harder too.
I absolutely agree that we have an obligation if we like take up the space to. It's also very important for me, like whenever I am live, like performing live, to meet the audiences individually, to kind of check in with them, and kind of like talk about, what's up with them, and like hear their story, and obviously bringing attention to, all of these realities and then challenges that we're facing, but also just to listen to them and check in, especially when we're, again, like, I feel like getting together away from home just as a community, and then it's important.
I think just being able to do your art in the face of whatever challenges there are, not being able to contain it is a revolutionary act. I think it's time for an audience Q&A. Yes. Yes. I love the enthusiasm. I'm throwing these cards to wind. So folks will come by and give out microphones. Raise your hand. I think you're with the enthusiasm, like you have to be the first. Yeah. There's a mic coming to you.
Yes.
Do I stand up too?
Yeah, stand up if you want.
Hi. Take off my jacket. It's very hot. Sorry, it's hot. Good afternoon, everyone. I do have a lot of questions, as you can see. So I do have, can I ask 5? Is that okay?
Oh wow.
No,
that's not okay. All right. Okay.
You
Choose
can
the
pick the most
strongest one.
important one. Maybe we can come
Okay.
back to you.
I would like to ask, what was the challenges that you faced to get to the point where you are in, like now, to create, like, well, I would say, to exalt your music? Because I know there's challenges that you had to endure to get to where you are now, like internal as well and external. Like internally, to really exalt your music and get through that battle of like, okay, it's time to share my music. It's time to share with the world. But then it's like, let's really be real. We have inside of our thoughts, like, what if they don't like this? What if that? So how did you overcome that? I really want to know, like, from all of you guys, like, how did you overcome that to exalt your music now?
That's a great question. Thank you.
I could say maybe right off the bat, something that really helped me, a resource, is this book called The Artist's Way, which I highly recommend. Yeah, exactly. It's changed my whole perspective. Yeah. Incredible. And so this writer has you write down every morning affirmations that make sure you stand tall and you know I am worthy of this spotlight. I know what I'm doing. I believe in my work and I'm gifted and I'm talented. And the more that you tell yourself these things, I mean, your brain is so smart. It'll pick up on this language and it'll start internalizing it. You really you have to have so much faith in yourself to do this art thing, and it is going to be a wavery process, and there's going to be a lot of imposter syndrome. You could be on a big stage being like, why am I here? But it's remembering that, oh, because I deserve it. Oh, because I'm good enough. And that's just practice and practice and practice. So read that book and do those affirmations. That's all I have to say.
The same. I'm still overcoming. Every day is a challenge, but I believe that doesn't you have something that you want to give to the world, and of course fear is there, but you have to do it even with the fear inside of you. That's my major advice. I have fear when I was 15, but I did my first concert I don't even can speak to the public, right? And now I still doing with a little bit of fear, but I'm doing it. Every circumstances, every opportunity is gonna have to catch you doing things. You have only, and it's gonna be really cliche, but you only have this life, you only have this time. You're gonna be the age you are just now. So be present and working, and put yourself out there is important. With all your bad and negative thoughts and all your fears and insecurities and whatever, just do it. If you wanna do it, do it. If you waste too much time thinking about it, you're gonna waste all your life, and it's not worth it. Just have this inside thought, what if? I hate the what if is the horrible situation.
I think we're gonna be here all night if we really delve into the intricacies. But what worked for me is really staying authentic to what I was looking for. As an artist, I think it's incredibly important to prioritize. What do you want? What do you want from this art? What do you want from this, I don't know, writing? What do you want from this music? Doesn't matter. You want to get famous? Sure. You want to make money? I mean, those are all priorities. Or you want to just, cope with some things? You want to reach somebody? But I think we should, simplifying it was absolutely, important for me. Once I knew, that one thing, and, that's how I'm going to kind of approach my art. And then that's how I'm going to stay authentic to it, no matter, because seasons change when you're a musician, right? There's highs, there's lows, you're going to get all the lights and there are going to be dark nights. But, what are you going to do, when everything's gone? You still need to have, that one thing that you were looking for. If you have that, then I think that's what's really helped me.
I think all of that is fantastic advice, no matter what you're doing, art, life, etc. Does anybody else have questions yet? Oh, let's get this out of the room. You're closer, and then to the other side, and then there's one in the back. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Bartika. I really loved your stories, Audrey, Felukah, as well as Bartika. It's really inspiring as me, as an immigrant as well, coming 10 years ago. I really feel the things that you guys are feeling. My main question would be, what is one thing that you always try to include in your songs, as well as your songwriting, while you're thinking about it or while you're producing it? My second question would be towards Bartika. I have been your fan since forever.
Thank you.
Since SoundCloud days. So that's
Wow.
2011, 2013.
yeah. I actually migrated with your songs as well, because I used to listen to them in Nepal as well as over here, and then you release your albums. One of the main things that I like about your songs is that it always ends, not always, but some of your songs ends with a question. So what's the thought process behind that? Okay, thank you so much.
Why don't we start with that answer, Bartika?
Not something that I was okay. Thank you, Bokig. Yeah, nice to see you in person. I guess because I'm navigating a lot of questions myself, that's the reason why. And like you said, not all, but a few of them do. And I think I'm in this introspecting journey myself. So which is why I would like whoever's listening to kind of go with me. I guess that's one of the reasons why. When you're asking like, what is the one thing I included, it doesn't really work that way for me, because it's totally about like, you know, it's not very intentional in the way that it's when I'm writing. It's kind of like a stream of consciousness. Is that what it said? But that's how it is first, and then it's edited to be a song. So yeah, I don't really. It's not really like, this is what I'm gonna include in each and every song and package it this way. But it's more organic. Like it flows, and then sometimes it starts with a word, sometimes it starts with a melody, and then it's obviously like I said earlier so many times, but to cope with certain things that I'm going through. But that is what it is. Thank you.
Felukah, is there anything in particular that you include in every one of your songs or most of your songs?
Think, generally speaking, obviously the topics will range, but it's very important to feel love in the presence of my music, radical, unconditional love. I think that's something all listeners deserve. I want you to feel like you're being loved by the song. I want to pour all my love into the music, so that's definitely the one component I will always try to infuse.
Same. That was almost my answer. Yeah, love, good vibes, and the willing to be listened. And yeah, that's important to believe in your own. I believe with all my heart in my craft. So every time I do my music, is like, oh, this is going to be awesome, and I'm gonna feel everything with love, with passion, even if the topic is hard or whatever, and it's gonna reach the people who has to reach. So yeah.
We have time for one more question, and it is coming from the back.
Good afternoon. My name is Ronald. I'm from Brazil. I'm sorry, my English not very well, but I will read. First of all, I would like to thank you for this moment and congratulate you on your art. My question is, if you had to choose just one composition to express a message to our world at this moment, what would it be? And what is the main phrase or expression of the song?
So if you had to pick one composition to express your message, what would it be? Ooh, these are really hard questions.
Only one? Go to my Spotify and
Yes.
and listen everything now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say like actually I'm gonna perform that song today. If you stay, you will listen. But I love this song that I wrote that is Perrísima, and Perrísima is a concept. It's not just a word. It's a philosophical concept, which is like you have to feel like you are the boss, no? And I believe us as a woman, we actually lead to don't feel that you are the boss that you have to be. So perrísima for me is like energy, and me siento perrísima is like I feel perrísima today. So it's I give it to you. Go and take the train and be the perrísima that you deserve to be. And that's my kind of energy these days. Like I'm gonna be the perrísima the world deserves. That's it.
Yes. Yes.
I love that. A definitely tough question to answer, but I think one of the songs that I've written that I really feel resonates with my message. Overall, it's an Arabic song called Mish Hastanna, which in Arabic translates, or in English translates to I won't wait. And it talks about a variety of women's social issues in the Middle East and Muslim family settings in particular. But the whole concept is really, I'm not going to wait for society to accept me. I'm not going to wait for doors to open. I'm going to open those doors. I'm going to speak up. And I won't wait for this imaginary clock to hit this certain hour for my time to come. And I hope nobody else in this room waits for anything either.
I'm so inspired by Audry and Felukah tonight. Just wanted to put that right there. I can't really pick a song, but because of all the conversations that we had this evening, what comes to mind is a song called Simana, which is the title track of my third EP. It translates to borders, legal borders. So what it is talking about is the chorus goes like Simana Kori Sapana Khosne जिउँदै यो आत्माको यहाँ औकात तोक्ने ऊ कति सक्षम छ असक्षम कति उसको क्षमताको अन्दाजी गर्ने हो को तिमी. So what it basically means is, we've created all these legal, physical borders, but it's really just, I don't know, like earth, water, whatever, like things that just erode over time. So, and then we will, kind of like we create valuations of people's lives based on these demarcations, and then just kind of asking, like, who gave you the right to do that? Like, life is, we're here for borrowed time, but I mean, what are we doing really? So that is kind of just the song, but that's what comes to mind, hearing these ladies talk tonight.
It's lovely. And I think that we have to wrap it up to get to performances. So thank you, ladies, so much. I am also quite inspired. I'm sure that we all are in this room. I'm looking to the big man over there, to my boss, to tell me what to do next. Oh, or who's going? Oh, it's Bartika's first.
It's
Yes.
mine. Yep. So should I? Okay.
Yes, everybody, Bartika.
So can the people hear me at the back? Okay, so I haven't played this guitar for like 7 or 8 years now, but I had to bring it today because this is the guitar that I wrote this song in that I'm gonna sing. So the song is called Anumati, which is a song I haven't sung for a while, even in my live performances. It's a song that I wrote in my friend's Bushwick apartment when I was crashing with her. I had no place to go. I was kind of homeless. She took me in. The title Anumati translates to permission, but it implies kind of like to allow oneself, to accept oneself, and kind of, go forward. It's a song I want to, sing for you tonight. सम्झना फिर्ता दिए तिम्रो
ये तिम्रा अहम थिए मेरा अहम सबै थोक माफी दिए
Test, test. Could we give Bartika another round of applause?
Yes.
Woo! That was amazing. Really. So beautiful. How are we feeling tonight, New York City? Yes, that's the energy I'm looking for. Do you guys mind creating the beat on which I'll rap? Okay, a little bit collaborative. Okay, cool. So this song is called The Narrative. It is from one of my earlier projects, and it's really about this idea of changing the narrative of how we see women in different spaces, particularly in pop culture, in mainstream media and music. And I would really be nowhere in this world without the women who came before me. So this song is an ode to all the women who inspired me and continue to inspire me, including my best friend who's sitting right here, continues to inspire me all the time. Yes, okay, now let's see how good we are at creating sound together. I'm gonna ask this side of the room, see if you guys can just keep a steady beat on your lap like this. Yes, create some rhythm. And then I'm gonna ask you guys to keep a snap going on every other tap. Like, oh yes, no, yes, no. Let's go. Okay, now let's try and just keep it going. Create a little bubble of sound and rhythm together. Yo. It's like the makeup, I get it from Rihanna. Cop the vibe from SZA, sometimes Loki prima donna. Miss Lauryn Hill and Missy Elliott is on repeat. I cop the no-name tape the day it dropped, she pulled me through the week. And Princess Nokia is on a regular, she Harlem reppin', catch her on the subway, she's the best of them. Lil' Kim and Sierra, put it down on the desk with them. Ain't finna mess with them. Old school soul like Fadeus. Amy Winehouse in my butt, I got a bad case of the blues. But I pick it all up like cool Kalani. Dunya made a record with the sister feeling sunny. Fire role models and I'm here right now. Fire role models to speak up. Won't forget my men in hip hop, but y'all never miss the sequel. Women on the mic, yes. Set the stage, stay awake. So, can I get a woman? Hold the light, hold the pen, yes. Write the words, the narrative, this narrative. It's imperative. All you other mother, just take a step back. Hey, I'm growing, I'm flowing. Yeah, damn, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. That was beautiful to create that moment. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This has been so amazing, like sharing with these powerful women in this stage. For the DJ over there, I'm gonna do the acapella and then go to the second. It's okay for a matter of time, the second beat. Well, remember, this is your Spanish class, like the intensity. I don't know who speaks Spanish here. Ay, muy bien. One is like, So, remember the word perrísima, right? Okay, perrísima. Roll your R's. Practice. Perfect. But first, I want to talk about something that is happening in my country. In Mexico, 12 women per day are assassinated. And it's because of a bunch of things, narco traffic. And I'm sick to see all these platforms like uplifting the narco traffic because it's not something that is good. My country is bleeding because of this. We're living in a horrible situation, in a violent situation, and nobody does nothing. And we as a social, like we as a human beings, society, we have to stick together, but also we have to declare these kind of things. And this migration problem is not because we want to go far away from home. It's because in our countries are a bunch of violence caused by one of these countries and other first world countries. So first of all, I want to talk about an a cappella. It's about my country and all the disappearing women. And then we'll go to Perrísima because we have to have a balance between sadness and happiness. Dice. En mi barrio varias compas desaparecieron. Las esfumaron a jalones, nadie hizo nada. En la calle llueve pena, nadie hizo nada. Sin aliento, sin sangre en vena, nadie hizo nada. Son las mías, las conocidas y las desconocidas. Las que por la acera caminan, quieren salir a vivir. Les arrancan la vida a plena luz del día, contando las muertas como las piedras que taparon cuerpos. Las sin rostro, las sin nombre, solo en cifras se convirtieron. Nadie hizo nada. Y seguimos gritando, nos queremos vivas porque merecemos una larga vida. Vivir nuestras metas, gozar sin medida. Merecemos larga vida, te seguimos gritando, buscamos tu nombre, contamos siluetas en el horizonte, te prendemos velas para que tus pasos encuentren camino y vuelvas a mis brazos. Y nadie hizo nada. Thank you. But now, let's do it. Are you ready?
Perrísima.
More beat, please.
Dícese del estado ontológico de la actitud. Ejemplos. Hoy salí a la calle y me sentí perrísima. El suelo no me merece. Soy perrísima. Sinónimos. Despampanante, glamorosa, increíble, potra, diva, apoteósica, caballota. Hoy me siento perrísima.
This is a cumbia. I need more beat for the people to, it's, if you dance, it's okay, we don't charge. Puro drama, puro lloriqueo, sentirme perdida sin confianza y creo que hasta cuenta en banco ya tuve el cero. Deudas me consumieron y la depre me dijeron que ya no sale de este cuerpo, pero no les creo. Cicatrices me dieron, puras fallas me dieron. Digo 3 ya se mejoraba esto, pero no, ya no. Pero hoy me siento perrísima, no es metafísica ni tampoco mística, esa cuerpo feminista. Me siento perrísima, ya no soy la víctima, tiro tu política, esa cuerpo feminista. Ay mamá, esa cuerpo feminista. Ay mamá. For all my feminist women who are perrísimas.
Siente la cumbia.
Desde el Bronx para el mundo, to the world from the Bronx. Help me.
jefe entiende esto. Pero mis amigas ya se lo dijeron, que salir con ella siempre nos libera. No vamos con nadie, vamos con puras nenas. Vamos a la marcha y a la pintadera, a consentirnos todas porque somos unas reinas, a darnos flores y mover cadera. Pero sí, hoy sí, a todos sí. Me siento perrísima, no es metafísica, ni tampoco mística, esta cuerpo es feminista. Me siento perrísima, ya no soy la víctima, tiro tu política, esa cuerpo es feminista. Na, 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 na. Esa cuerpo es feminista. So we're gonna do a dynamic group, okay? So we're gonna say perrísima, 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 perrísima. Perrísima, 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 fuerte. So, I'm gonna say, yo soy perrísima, perrísima. Tú eres Felukah, y también y la Bartika, and you are, and everybody is. Muchas gracias. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. I'm sorry, I have no mic. Oh, no. What if I wanted to yell? Thank you, everybody, so much for coming. Thank you to Audry Funk, to Bartika, to Felukah. This has been wonderful. And thank you to the New York Public Library. We love libraries. Have a good night, everybody.